الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والذين جاهدوا فينا لنهدينهم سبلنا سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. Inshallah ta'ala, we begin this majlis with the beautiful name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we send salutations on his Habib, in our Habib, our Master Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that through his words, his beautiful ahadith, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enlightens our heart, fills our heart with nur and tafaqquh fi deen and understanding of the deen, and really drive us to passion, that the deen becomes our passion, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala becomes our passion, the sunnah of our Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam become our passion. We become people who are able to act, we are people who are able to be motivated and inspired, and we are people who actually do things in this dunya, in this muhlat, in this time that Allah ta'ala has given us. So inshallah, with that intention, please remain focused on your qulub, on your hearts, and make sure that your hearts are focused on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inshallah ta'ala, this first hadith mubarakah that we will cover today, it has been narrated by Imam Tirmidhi rahmatullah ta'ala alayh. It is a lengthy hadith mubarakah, and Shufay al-Asbahi rahmatullah ta'ala alayh related that I said to Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala. So the Rawi is telling about his engagement with Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. And he says, I'm asking you for the sake of the truth, and again for the sake of the truth, that you should narrate such a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam which you fully understood and comprehend. Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu said, I will do so. I will relate a hadith to you which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam related to me, and which I fully understand and comprehend. Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu then screamed, either because of restlessness or intense fear, because one has to be extremely cautious about narrating a hadith without any omission or addition, or this might have been out of intense yearning, this burning in the heart, in the sense that the close companionship of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was right before his eyes, right? When you narrate somebody, that memory comes into your mind, looking at the subject, as they speak, and really taking in every single word that come from their lips, right? So Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu had heard directly from the beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the Ravi says, we waited for a long time until he recovered. He then said, I will relate a hadith to you which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam related to me in this very place. There was no one there apart from me and him. Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala screamed loudly. He then recovered, wiped his face, and said, I will relate a hadith to you which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam related to me in this very place. There was no one there apart from me and him, the lover and the beloved. Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala then screamed loudly again. He leaned forward and fell on his face. The Ravi says, I gave him support for a long time. He then recovered and said, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam related a hadith to me. Allahu Akbar. Haddathani Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What does this tell you? Does this hadith mubarakah invoke any emotions in your heart? Does it tell you the warmth, the heat, the flame that were in the hearts of the Sahaba Kiram Rizwanullahi Ajma'in? Does it tell you about the ecstasy, the wajad that they would come in the hal, the condition, the state that they experience, even thinking about the beloved, even thinking about the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? That place, that memory, it was so intense that sometimes they would faint. This was the hal, this was the condition that they were in. And this hadith mubarakah is referencing to this spiritual state. It's obvious, right? This wajad, being in a state of ecstasy, being in a hal where nothing else matters. You lose connection with the physical. There are no more needs, there are no more requirements. Hunger doesn't bother you, thirst doesn't bother you, your bodily, your nafsani needs don't bother you. It is just you, your ruh, and the person that you love and their ruh. Man tu shudam tu man shudi, man tan shudam tu jan shudi, ta kas na gavi de bad azim man di garam tu di gari. That I become you and you become I. I become the body and you become my soul. So afterwards, nobody can say that I am somebody else and you are somebody else. This was the mahabbah. So, you find this wajad, these kayfiyah in the spiritual master as well. Owing to their ability to control themselves, the past masters rarely allowed themselves to be overcome while experiencing ecstasy of this magnitude. Obviously, Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu had such a direct connection with the power source that he just, that memory came and he would just scream. He screamed, Allahu Akbar Kabira. Thumma nashaga, and this ghashi. Allah, ghashi is like when you faint, you lose your senses, you fall down, you become unconscious. Thumma nashaga Abu Hurairah. Again, nashagatan shadidatan. This extreme experience, intense experience. So it's not difficult to imagine that at times even the spiritual masters become overcome. And you will find in the books of tasawwuf that this is something that did happen to them. Sometimes you read that these seekers of the path, they could not control themselves. They would wake up in the night, in the middle of the night, and their chests would be beating and they would be screaming, Allah, 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 Allah. They could not control themselves. This was the passion in the heart. This was the burning in their heart that they were able to experience it. And even their muhabba for their mashayikh. It is said about Pir Ghulam Habib Sahib rahmatullah ta'ala alayh, our grand sheikh, that he had such intense muhabba for his sheikh that he would wake up in the middle of the night and he would say, oh, my sheikh is here, please go do parda to the women in the house. He was so, experienced that intensity of the presence of the muhabba that he could not control himself. This is what we call a wajad, the memory or the presence of somebody that is so intense that it changes you. It changes you physically, it changes you psychologically, it changes you spiritually, right? And you become your beloved. You become like them. And this is why you find the likeness of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the Sahaba Kiram Rizwanullahi Ajma'in. There's a lot that can be said here, but inshallah ta'ala, our teachers always used to say, and I really need you to understand this. Our teachers always used to say that this path is hal, it is not qal. This path is hal, it is not qal. Meaning you cannot talk about these things, you have to experience them. You have to experience them. And it's ajib that we don't experience anything today. Right? We don't experience anything today. We talk about things. We philosophize things. We are academic creatures. We are intellectual creatures. And so the hal, the condition, the state, even the word love is meaningless to us. What does love mean to us? Have we ever loved? Have we ever loved? We are so consumed by our own nufus. We are so consumed by our own desires. We don't even know what love means. Love is utter sacrifice. Love is that you cannot bear being without your beloved. That you want to listen to your beloved. You want to be in the presence of your beloved. You want to think about your beloved 24 hours a day. Maulana Rum rahmatullah used to say, there is no I, there is only he. That level of self-negation, that only my lover, my beloved exists, I am a nobody. That you lose your own existence, right? You lose your own existence, you annihilate yourself. This is fina. You fina yourself, annihilate yourself. That fire burns you. That fire of ishq, it burns you. It burns you. So nothing else remains but your beloved. इश्क की आतिश का जब शुअला उठा, माँ सिवा माशूक सब कुछ जल गया, तेगला से कत्ल गैर हक हुआ, फिर देखिए बाद इसके क्या बचा, फिर बचा अल्लाह, बाकी सब फना, मरहबा ए इश्क तुझको मरहबा. That when the flame of ishq, of love, intense love, right, it burnt in my heart, then everything and everyone but my beloved was burnt. It burnt everything but my beloved. Teghila, the sword of La, meaning La ilaha illallah. I annihilated everything and everyone with this sword of La ilaha illallah. And then when I looked within myself, what remained was my beloved, what remained was Allah. Oh ishq, marhaba, 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 shukran. I am in debt to you that you allowed me to experience this pure tawheed, that nothing else remained within me but Allah, my beloved. So have we experienced that ever? Do we even want to experience that? Right? Have we loved like this? Do we even want to love like that? This is a question for ourselves to answer. Are we okay with just living mundane, average lives, just like everybody else, running after mundane, average things, getting happy when we have a house, getting happy when we have cars, getting happy when we buy clothes? Is that the extent of who we are as a human being? The Khalif of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fil ard, on this world, this is what we have become? This is how we weigh ourselves? This is how we weigh our success? This is utter failure. If we have not tasted a drop of love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what have we tasted? What is our life about? What is this ruh about if it has not been nourished by that love? Yes, even animals have nufus. They are better at these things than us. They can eat better, they can drink better, they can run faster, they procreate better, they can see things better, they can smell better, right? Allah Ta'ala has made the haywanat with so many abilities, right? Insan is weak, but Allah Ta'ala has given insan this ruh that gives insan strength, makes it qawi, because we can have ma'rifah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can empty ourselves from these nufus, from these base, instinctive, animalistic features, and we can become angelic in our existence. This ruh, when you fill it with love, with the fuel of love of Allah, when you fill it with passion of Allah, when you fill it with desire of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it drives you so you even become better than the angels. Even angels cannot get to the maqam that insan can get to, but they have to be filled with that muhabbat, with that love. Where's the wajad, I ask you? وَجِلَتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا ذُكِرَ اللَّهُ وَجِلَتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ. The mu'mineen, people who are true mu'min, they are those people. إِذَا ذُكِرَ اللَّهُ, when the name of Allah, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is made mention in front of them, Allah, 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 وَجِلَتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ, their hearts tremble in anticipation. They shake, right? That word, it puts a current through them. This is like the electric chair, energy flows through them. This energy, this nur flows through them. Allah, this nur flows through their chest. Their heart trembles. Their ruh trembles. It wants to return back to the beloved. It seeks out the beloved. It doesn't want anything from this dunya. It only wants Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Only Allah, only Allah, only Allah. That's all the ruh yearns for, nothing else. This is the Ruhani Zindagi. This is the Ruhani life. This is the life that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had. He was in this dunya, but he was not, the dunya was not in him. The Sahaba Kiram lived in this dunya. They were born in this dunya. They were from this dunya, but the dunya was not in them. They were anticipating for their akhirah when they would meet their beloved. Every day they ached and they yearned for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That love drove them to passion. Like Abu Hurairah radiallahu, that he is going into this state. I was with my beloved and my beloved told me something. I was right here. This place was here. This place was here. And I was standing here with my mahbub, and he was uttering those beautiful words, and I was listening to them. Can you imagine how he felt? Can it even come into our imagination? Allahu Akbar. So this is mahabba. This is a different world. It is a different plane of existence. It's a different dimension to live in. It's very different from the life that we are used to. Allahu Akbar. Moving on. Next hadith Mubarakah has been narrated by Imam Tirmizi rahmatullah ta'ala alayh. And he relates Hazrat Anas bin Malik radiallahu ta'ala anhu, this great sahabi of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. This is a very famous hadith Mubarakah. And the Mashaykh actually used this. And the hadith says, Al-mar'u ma'a man ahabba wa lahu maktasab. Right? Small hadith Mubarakah, very profound. On the day of resurrection, or in general, a person will be with those he loved and will receive the reward for what he did. So this actually goes into a lot of the framework of Islamic spirituality, this concept of suhbah. Who do we love? Who do we attach ourselves to, right? And this is the practice of pledging allegiance for admission into a silsila as well, which we call bay'ah, right? Bay't tawbah. It is known that certain individuals will not live up to the promises that they make during this pledge of bay'ah, or that they will not fulfill their responsibilities with regard to the prescribed spiritual practices, like, the ma'mulat, the dhikr, the mujahida. In some cases, they will still be admitted into the order, the silsila, the order, the path, the tariq and silsila, they get introduced and initiated into it. So this hadith Mubarakah should be understood as a basis for this, because the effect of the bay'ah is that it becomes a cause of love for one's spiritual master. This is a ta'alluq hubbi. It is a ta'alluq of love, a connection of the heart. And so even when, we are weak in our dhikr, even if we are weak in our mujahida, even if we are weak in our himmat, love drives us. There's hope of acquiring the blessing of this love, right? Which is al-maru ma man ahabba. You will be with that person that you love. If we love al-mashayikh, our spiritual masters, who love their spiritual masters, going all the way back to Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, and we know that he loved and adored Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is a chain, this is a silsila of muhabba, of love. Yes, we are weak, but inshallah this love will sustain us on the Day of Judgment as well. So there is hope. So some people do ask themselves, should I take this bay'ah with the Shaykh? Should I initiate myself into a tariq or a silsila? Of course we should. Even if we feel that we are too weak. Yes, we are, but inshallah, when we are in the suhbah, that will help us. That will drive us, inshallah ta'ala. And this is really what the reason is. And this hadith in Mubarakah is very clear on that. I mean, there are ayahs of the Quran, kunu ma as-sadiqeen, people who claim to iman, fear Allah, have consciousness of Allah, and attach yourself with the sadiqeen. And let not your eyes stray away from them. Let not your eyes stray away from them. We read that every Friday. People who are in the habit of reading Surah Kahf every single week, they understand this, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning in the surah itself, and the way that it is explained, Allahu Akbar, it shakes you. It tells you of what kind of love and what kind of connection do you need with these people, with your spiritual masters. وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ. Keep yourself. And who's being told? O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, O my Nabi, وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ, be patient. Keep yourself patiently with those who call on their Lord. Right? That is your companions who remember their Lord with glorification, praising and prayers, and the dhikr, righteous deeds. They are calling their lords. يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ, morning and afternoon. And what are they doing? يُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَهُ, Allahu Akbar, seeking His face. Whose face? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not a physical one, right? But face, the nur, that enlightens the darkness of this universe. That nur. Allahu nuru samawati wal ard. They are seeking that nur. Allahu Akbar. وَلَا تَعْدُ أَيْنَاكَ عَنْهُمْ, and let not your eyes overlook them. Don't turn your eyes away from them. تُرِيدُ زِينَةَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا, desiring the pomp and glitter of the life of the world, that you're turning your eyes away from those who are lovers of Allah and those who are beloved to Allah. You're turning your eyes away, seeking what? Seeking zinat al-hayat al-dunya, seeking the pomp and glitter and wahwa and of the dunya, of the life of the world. And then Allahu Akbar, وَلَا تُطِعْ مَنْ أَغْفَلْنَا قَلْبَهُ عَنْ ذِكْرِنَا, and remember, do not obey, do not follow, right? تُطِعْ إِطَاعَةً, do not do ita'at, do not obey those whose hearts we have made heedless, who have ghafla in their hearts of our remembrance. They do not remember Allah in their hearts. They have no dhikr in their hearts. Their hearts do not tremble with that dhikr. Do not follow those people. And who are these people? وَاتَّبَى هَوَاهُ وَكَانَ أَمْرُهُ فُرُطًا, and who follow their own lusts. They're running after their own desires, their own passions of the dunya. Don't follow them. Don't you dare follow them. And whose affairs have been lost. وَكَانَ أَمْرُهُ فُرُطًا. I mean, this is Surah Kahf that we read every week, inshallah. What is Allah Ta'ala telling us? Allah Ta'ala is telling us the power of this love, that when you have this power, this is the adab of that power, that when you look at the face of your beloved, of your spiritual masters, right, even that has nur in it, their suhbah has nur in it, their companionship has nur in it. Kunu ma sadiqeen, attach yourself so you can get this nur in your chest as well. Do not turn your eyes away, seeking the pomp and glitter of the dunya. Allahu Akbar Kabira. So we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah ta'ala gives us the proper understanding, and may Allah ta'ala open up these windows and doors for us in this dunya as well. Ameen ya Rabbul Alameen. Wa akhru da'wana anil hamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Inshallah ta'ala, for a few minutes, close your eyes, bow your heads in humility and humbleness. Let go of all the thoughts of the dunya and everyone in this dunya. Inshallah ta'ala, make intention that Allah ta'ala's anwarat, tajalliyat, fiyuzat, this light is descending upon us. cleansing us of all the negativity, of all the filthy thoughts, of all the negative emotions, of all the darkness within our hearts, of all the love of the dunya in our hearts, of the love of the people in our hearts. And it's filling our hearts with the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, love of akhirah. And feel that your qalb is beating, feel that your qalb is energized, and feel that your qalb is saying, Allah, 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 and that you're listening to it. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Make a small dua. Subhana Rabbi ala al-Wahhab. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. اللهم يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك. اللهم يا مصرف القلوب صرف قلوبنا على طاعتك. يا الله يا رحمن يا رحيم يا أرحم الراحمين يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك أستغيث. اللهم إنا نسألك رضاك والجنة ونعوذ بك من غضبك من النار. اللهم إنا نسألك ما سألك منه عبدك وحبيبك ونبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، ونعوذ بك من شر ما استعاذك منه عبدك وحبيبك ونبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. وأنت المستعان وعليك البلاغ ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. الله أنت مقصودي وأنت محبوبي وأنت مسجودي وأنت معبودي يا الله. اللهم إنا نسألك منك، اللهم إنا نسألك حبك وحب من يحبك. اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى. اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية في الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم إنا نسألك منك ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وقنا عذاب القبر وقنا عذاب الحشر وقنا عذاب يوم يقوم الحساب. وادخلنا جنة مع الأبرار يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. صلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. آمين يا رب العالمين. جزاكم الله خير وأحسن جزاء في الدارين.